My name is Aristotle, and I come to you from the year of 350 before Christ. Now, at that time, when I lived in ancient Macedonia, Greece, most cities were very small. And all of us could get together like you are in this room and decide on whatever matter. Now, the population grew, and eventually it became impossible to exercise direct democracy and individually participate in every decision-making process. So the Romans followed my thought and decided to introduce representation, or electoral college, as it is known now in this country. And that worked for a while. But then something happened. People somehow no longer participated in decision-making process. There were intermediaries. There were private interests. There was corruption. There was coup d'etat. There were many other things that were not necessarily good. And so different thinkers tried to address this issue somehow, and none of them were able, before now, to come up with any perfect decision. And here I come to you finally. None of the principles which men claim to rule and hold other men in subjection to them are strictly right. This I bring to you from my 2,000 years of experience. I wrote that in my book, Politics, published in Athens, on papyrus, yes, in 350 BC. So some say I was widely respected among Muslim scholars of Middle Ages who called me as the first teacher, and among medieval Christians like Thomas Aquinas as simply the philosopher, while the great Italian poet Dante Alighieri called me the master of those who know. Now, I was involved in a bunch of different scientific stuff, starting with syllogisms and scientific styles and physics. Yes, physics, elements. We talked at that time about soul and about memory, and yes, about dreams too. Of course, virtues and vices, always with us. And then finally, I was able to dedicate some time to society governance. And I looked at what was possible in human experience at my time, and what is it that the future generations may find useful from that experience. Well, let's take a look. Before we do, let me please quote some Dante. I saw the master there of those who know, amid the philosophic family, by all admired and by all reverenced. There Plato, too, I saw, and Socrates, who stood beside him closer than the rest. So now let's take a look at how do societies govern themselves. Well, there are generally a few helpful types here. We were governed by the one, monarchy or tyranny. We were guided by the few, aristocracy or oligarchy. And then governing for the common interest by the many. This is what I consider the best. Democracy, weaker version. Polity, the best. What is polity? It's when everybody exercises their direct right to govern. Now, as I said in the beginning, that became impossible when cities grew, all the way until now. Why? Why did that change? Technology is the answer. And today, there are platforms and solutions that offer a lot of promise. Promise to return to direct democracy. Promise to let us run our lives the way we want it. Now, there are a few things which we'll talk about at some point which make that technological breakthrough possible. And there are very, very strict technical requirements. If we're talking about a society with 100 million people or 1 billion people, you're going to have high speed and scalability. You must have true anonymity, constitutional requirement in this country, and you must have decentralization. There should be no red button. No red button. Nobody should be able to stop an election. And with that, I now give you people who today continue my thoughts of 2,000 years ago. Michael Popper.
Thank you.
Go.
Well, so is that 2,000 plus years? And here we are in the modern day. I'll grab that liquid. Yeah, you do.
And just a few words, Michael, thank you, to bring you back from the domain and realm of technology back to us real people down here. Now, how many of you know what's the total number of words there are in English language? Anyone? Anyone else? 200,000 going once? 600. Who said 600? There you go. That guy is in the know. So can you remember 12 of them? I think you can. So if you can remember 12 random words out of 600,000, you own your identity, you own your money, you own your future. What can be easier? 12 words. Now, some of us who work in different communities, different networks, remember 4, 5, or 6 sets of 12 words. There's nothing complicated in that. All of you learned Shakespeare in school, right? So that's where we're going, Michael. You remember 12 words? You own everything. You don't. You stay in the back 2,000 years ago. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.